Robert on the Board of Health texted us.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen, Highway Commissioner, Cemetery Commissioner meeting of Thursday, July 26, 2018, which shall lead into the special town meeting of July 26, 2018. First order of business is for the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Greetings, everyone. As you can see, 4 out of the 5 members. Mr. Siganevich is excused tonight. First up, public business, Baker Pond Road boat ramp review action. Mr. Town Administrator.
Board members, at its last meeting, the board asked that a letter be sent to Conservation Commission, asking them to restate their position in view of the past discussions that the board had. And you received a letter from the Conservation Commission that should be in your packet. And it says that the location is for passive recreation, and the commission has voted to allow non-motorized vehicles, whether they be kayaks, canoes, or other watercraft, in on the conservation restriction, and that they agreed that the boulders blocking access road to be moved to allow access to emergency vehicles should the pond arise, or should the need arise. I just wanted to follow up that Mr. Sullivan and I did meet with the residents from Baker Pond, and we did discuss a plan of action, and there was a gate that was put in, and the rocks were removed, and we have keys to the gate, and keys were distributed to police and fire and highway and Dudley. I also have a key in my office, and they don't have a key, and I understand the same was done for Charlton, so that in terms of making sure that there's keys, the town and the town of Charlton have the keys to the gate, and that will ensure the fact that the ramp would be used as was requested by the board. So I know the residents are here. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking to them, but if they might have something to add quickly, I think that would be appropriate.
You know, I just want to say, and I want to thank everyone that was here at the last couple of meetings. It was very, obviously a hot button issue, a lot of feelings on both sides, and a lot of thought and went into our final decision, and ultimately it rested with the Conservation Board. But as we stated that night, most people watch our meetings and not Conservation, so I allowed it to go on because I felt that was the forum for people to get their opinions out. Is it an optimum solution? Probably for the long-term health of the pond. When it comes to general access, probably not so optimum, but I think, as I said, it rests with Conservation. We made our feelings known, and I think for now we're in a pretty good place. Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, has the Board of Selectmen, I know we've taken other motions, and I apologize for not being able to make the last couple. Has the Board of Selectmen voted to acknowledge hereafter that the control and the issue of boat access to Baker Pond is under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Department?
We didn't take an official vote, but we referenced the deed that was presented to us, and through the town administrator, we made it clear that from going forward, issues have to go through Conservation.
Okay.
For that.
For that
boats
access
put on
point.
that, right.
Yes. So we recognize the letter from Chairman Andrew Levitch from the Conservation, and we appreciate the time and effort that they also put into it. Next up, we have the Town Treasurer, Collector, Rich Carignani, with a health insurance policy update.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we have here is a policy drawn from all of Mass General laws that the town has accepted over the course of the, decades. I want to say the first one maybe was mid-60s. A lot of it is current practice. A lot of this is the Hampshire Council of Governments Insurance Trust, their practices, as well as Blue Cross and a few of our other vendors. So what we've done is taken what we do and put it into a single policy, as opposed to oh, Mass General Law 9.5D permits us to do this as opposed to that. We're not changing how we do the business. We have memorialized how we conduct the business. This was done externally. Our healthcare consultant had gone through and found all of the source documents and put them together in a readable policy. If you were to go through some of the Chapter 32B verbiage, it's dry and tough to follow. I don't know, I could speak for hours on this. I'm asking for the board to adopt it. This is a firm document, as in it's our guidelines. We would expect the board to be reactive in the event there's a change in the law. The Affordable Care Act drove a lot of this. A few years ago, Senator Moore had sponsored some healthcare reformations that went through. So we could be revisiting this in 3 months, or it could lie dormant for 2 years, depending on the flavor of the week. Questions from the board, thoughts?
Mr. Joseph?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we adopt the draft policy presented to us today on group health, dental, and life insurance coverage, and that we place page 7 onto our website under the heading of group health, dental, and life insurance. So that if anybody questions anything, the full summary of what we did and what we adopted and why the policy exists is contained on page 7.
Motion made by Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Marcy. I just have one question, Rich.
Of course.
The new state law they passed about the 12 weeks paid leave, we're exempt because we're a municipality, right? That's private sector?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the tax that they're putting on the people would not be...
Will not apply to us.
Okay.
And I think the policy, for my 2 cents, is fantastic. I think it's something that's necessary. And the timing kind of waiting is we needed a vote of town meeting in the spring where the town accepted section 9D of chapter 32B involving payment of premium by surviving spouses. That turned out okay, and that was a favorable vote. Benefits weren't cut. It just more or less, it codified what we were already doing. And so none of this is changes, widespread changes, but does establish in a written form what we think is right. And I've been working with Rich, 6 months on this?
Easily.
So I think it's time.
Okay. I'm all set with questions. Anybody else? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, Rich. And thank
Thank you.
Guys,
thank Mr. Boyle for his hard work.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. Don't sell me short.
This included the change of...
Town administrator report.
No, but we can deal with that. Probably not in this policy, but we can deal with it.
That's unfortunate.
It's all right, we'll deal with it. Town administrator's report. So I'm happy to report that the
Do I date it?
cooling system has been fixed in this
Do I
building.
date it?
Yes, please.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the cooling system has been fixed in this building. I want to thank the employees for their patience over the last couple months in dealing with the heat and humidity that we had. On to bigger and better things. The cooling tower was replaced yesterday. It was hooked up today. There'll be some tweaks and some changes. There's still some warm spots around the building where people say they haven't got any airflow. But the bottom line is the system is fixed, and the next step is to go forward with the roof. So
I'm
hopefully
neither hot nor cold, so that's a good step.
we will ensure that going forward that the system is on a maintenance plan. Thank you. That's all I have.
Well, hopefully, all these issues that came up that generated a lot of phone calls and a lot of concerns have gone away.
Well, there's always concerns.
Well, if somebody calls me and tells me they're too cold, I'm gonna close the place for good. Probably.
Well, we
rest of
again,
my term.
I recognize the fact that
Call-
that people were warm, but realize that my office doesn't have any windows in it, so, you know, my air conditioning was not any better than anyone else's over the last 2 months.
I had no windows at my job either, so for someone to call me and tell me they were a little warm. It's okay, though.
You know,
How'd that make you feel, Steve?
Like a baby treats its diaper.
I think the temporary cooling system worked out okay.
Raymond's.
We'll look to pass those on to needy residents through the Veterans Department and through the Council on Aging.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's it for the town administrator report.
That's it.
Department heads,
You can see they're all lined up.
seeing none.
Backlash.
Board of Selectmen comments, Mr. Joseph, anything?
None.
None. Mr. Ruda?
Negative.
Negative.
None
Mr.
for me,
Marcy?
Mr. Chairman.
None for me.
How you doing?
So at this time, I think we will recess till the start of the town meeting, not to reconvene an open session.
We're gonna be are we gonna be attending this town meeting as the Board of Selectmen?
You don't need to attend it as the Board of Selectmen because it's a posted meeting. If you wish to reconvene afterwards, that would be a reason why you'd want to
Okay,
recess.
we're not gonna reconvene after.
So you can close your meeting, and then at 6:30,
Just let them-
open town meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, motion to close then?
So moved.
Mr. Joseph?
Second.
Second by Mr. Marcy. Again, not to reconvene. The close of the town meeting will end our business.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, everyone.